Right. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Okay, so for today, we are going to continue with still in topic number 7. So as a recap, what we've discussed last week, the first part is actually we discussed about features, the characteristics, anything related to bonds. Okay, so in terms of the features of the callability, the convertibility, right? And then we go through the valuation parts. Okay, we have 4 different valuations, which is the value of bond VB. We have current yield, and also we've discussed YTM, yield to maturity, and yield to call, YTC. Right. So for today, we're going to go through the next part, which is about bond price volatility. Okay, so this analysis or this valuation really important with regards to investor. Okay, when they want to invest in bond, they want to measure, okay, what would be the changes towards its value. Okay, if there's any difference with regards to yield or the what we call as the required rate of return. Okay, so if the bond's value change frequently, okay, so therefore it is considered more volatile and therefore it's more risky. Okay, as an investor, obviously we don't want to have a very volatile bond price movement. All right, so there's a few measurements that we can use to measure bond price volatility. Okay, the first one is price value of basis point. And based on this, the formula would be the bond price, okay, after the change of required yield minus the original price. Okay, and we divide with the denominator, the changes of the required yield. Okay, so the higher the ratio shows the bond is more volatile and obviously more sensitive. Okay, more sensitive towards the required yield. Okay, again, out of 3 that we have for measurement of bond price volatility, we will not discuss about this in details. Okay, together with this one, this is also will not be discussed in detail. Okay, yield value of price change. Okay, so we want to measure the difference of yield versus bond price changes. Okay, so the one that we will discuss in detail is the third one, which is this one, the bond duration. Okay, so this is a measurement to measure how the interest rate sensitivity caused by the changes of price. Okay, so generally coupon bond duration is less than bond maturity terms, and the lower the coupon rate, okay, the lower the coupon rate, the greater the duration of the bond. Okay, so bond duration, actually we can measure how many, in terms of the period, how many time ataupun how many, cannot say year lah, but yeah, in what time will the investor to recover the principal. Okay, so obviously the shorter the period is nearer to the maturity lah. Okay, so we have a few measurements, so just bear with me. Some of the calculation might be slightly complicated, okay, but just go through the process, just go through the steps. Hopefully you can get it. Okay, you can get how to calculate at the end, which is when we want to measure the new bond price. Whenever there's a change of the interest rate, how it affects the new bond price. Okay, so the first measurement when we talk about duration is what we call as Macaulay duration. Okay, Macaulay duration, or simply we use the symbol D. Okay, duration. So this Macaulay duration will measure the average life of a bond. Okay, and this Macaulay duration, again, they will ignore any options embedded in the security. So what kind of options? If you remember, options like callability, okay, or convertibility, will be ignored. Okay, so we're going to assume there will be no attachment, right, towards the bond. Okay, there's no options or whatsoever. Okay, and this duration, like I said, will measure in terms of years. Okay, what will be the average life of bond remaining? Okay, and the measurement or the maturity will determine yeah, how soon it will be. Okay, and this will consider the repayment of capital, okay, at maturity, and also the size and also the timing of the coupon payment prior to the final maturity. So how to calculate the Macaulay durations? Okay, so this is a formula. Okay, this is a formula. So the numerator is actually the sum of, okay, the sum of coupons, okay, coupon of that occurs in period T, okay, multiply with T. T is the time, is the time period. And we divide with 1 plus k to the power of t. So this is basically, we want to find the present value. Okay, when you see this formula, okay, formula present value is actually 1 divided by, 1 plus k to the power of t. Okay, so this is the formula of present value. Okay, so if you substitute with the front part or the numerator part with ct times t, then this is actually to find the present value of this value. Okay, and the numerator would be the sum of coupon, okay, coupon without the weight of the t, divided by 1 plus k to the power of t. So this process, the bottom part here, this is actually to find the VB, the value of bond. Okay, remember the VB last time, the formula is coupon, PIFA, K and N. So in this case, they substitute K, the N dengan T, so T and N in this case is the same, plus present value, PIF, K and N. Okay, so the one in the bracket is actually this formula, 1 plus k to the power of t, which is to find again the present value. This is actually present value, both are present values. And we want to present value the coupon and also the par value, the principal. So the process of present valuing everything is actually to find the value of bond. So therefore, the denominator is actually to find the price of bond using the present value model, okay, which is this one, maybe. Okay, looks not so bad, but the complicated part is actually when we want to find the sum, it means we need to calculate for every period. That's why we have T here. So if we use formula like VB, we're going to get the final answer. So how you want to see the cash flows for every year, which is not possible if you use this formula straight away. And because of that, we are going to prepare a table. Okay, we are going to prepare a table to assist us to find the values for each period. So bear with me. To illustrate how we want to find the duration, the D, okay, I will use this question. Okay, I've uploaded this as well, I think, in terms of the exercise of the bond duration. Okay, so we have plenty of questions here. And to illustrate, maybe I'm going to use question number 4. Okay, question number 4 will be used for illustration purposes. So for a typical duration question, okay, bond duration, they will provide with you at least 3 out of 4 items here. Okay, they will provide you with a coupon. Okay, for this case, the coupon is 12% semi-annually. The YTM, the yield to maturity, this is the K. Technically, this is the K, okay, the required rate of return. This is the C, the coupon. So the yield to maturity, or the K, is 9%. And the maturity is 4. Okay, this is, sometimes we use N, but in this case, we use T. Okay, 4 years. And for this question, the coupon will be compounded semi-annually. So technically, in a year, the M, remember, if we revisit last week's valuation, yeah, we need to make some adjustment if it's semi-annually, whereby the M, which is how many compounded in a year, is equivalent to 2. Okay, so this will affect all C, K, and T. Okay, with C, we need to divide by 2, or M in this case is 2, right? K, you have to divide by 2, and T, you have to multiply by 2. Okay, and all of this will be adjusted accordingly. Right? Then they ask you plenty of questions here, A, B, C, then E. So the one that we just discussed is the Macaulay duration. So the rest you just ignore for time. So we just want to focus on the Macaulay duration. So how to prepare? So again, this is the general formula. Okay, but to solve this, I suggest to prepare a table. Okay, let me put it like this. So the table will have something like this. We're going to start with time. I'm going to start with time. So time will be our first column. And time refers to T, okay, the T. And since they have 4 years left to maturity, and since this is semi-annually, so 4 by 2, times by 2 because T times 2, right? So we're going to have 8 periods, okay? 4 years, every year compounded twice. So technically we have 8 times of cash flows, 8 times of cash flows. So therefore we're going to have 8 here. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we're going to have 8 periods. Okay, 4 years by 2 times. One second, eh? All right, so next we're going to have the cash flow. Okay, cash flow. So this cash flow refers to the interest, the coupon, and also the principal. Okay, the coupon and also the principal. Okay, so the coupon is again 12% divided by 2. Okay, so 12 divided by 2 is technically 6%. So 6% times 1,000 ringgit par value is 60 ringgit. Okay, 60 ringgit. So this investment will generate 60 ringgit every period. Okay, 60 ringgit every period. Except during the final one. So again, if you remember the concept of bond, the issuer will pay bond coupons or the interest every period, okay, every year, and they will pay the principal at maturity. Okay, so in this case, the maturity will happen in the period of number 8. So therefore, the issuer will return back the principal during this period. So therefore, during this 8th period, you're gonna get the 1,000 together with the 60 ringgit of coupon. Okay, so there will be different of cash flows in period number 8. Okay, so the 1,000 is the par value, the principal, and 60 ringgit is the coupon. This is the cash flow, right? From 1 until 7, it will be the same, fixed. Okay, but for period number 8, the investor will get back his initial investment of 1,000 ringgit per certificate. Okay, so now the third part is to find the present value. Okay, present value of cash flows. Right. remember the formula I just wrote in the note just now. To find the present value of the cash flow, we need to divide with 1 plus k to the power of t, which is this part. 1 plus k to the power of t. And the k in this case is the yield to maturity, YTM. Okay. So if you go back to this, the yield to maturity is 9%. Again, the k we need to divide by 2 as well. So therefore, it's going to be 4.5%. Okay, 4.5%. So that's why for this, we cannot rely on table. Okay, the time value of money table that we used before, we cannot use it here because we have a 0.5%. Okay, if you remember the table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So everything is in round number lah. But here we have point form, so we cannot use the table. So therefore, we have to calculate manually. Okay, by dividing this 60 ringgit. So I just write here the whole formula. What we need to do is 60 ringgit. We divide with 1 plus k. So our 1 plus k is 1.045 because the k is 4.5%. So plus 1, it will be 1.045. Okay, to the power of t. So our first time is 1. So to the power of 1. So to the power of 1, actually, we don't have to write anything. But anyway, so 60, we divide with 1.045. So you're going to get 57.42. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. 57.42. 57 again and 42 cents. So by the way, when you talk about present value, all of these values will be lower than the cash flows, obviously. Okay, they will be lower. So for example, for the second part, okay, for the second period, it will be 60 divided by 1.045 to the power of 2. Okay, 60 divided by 1.045 to the power of 2. So it will be 54 ringgit and 94 cents. Okay, 54.94. So please, can you help me by calculating all of this until the period of 8? 4.94. So the second one is 54.94. Okay. So please help me find the values for cash flow period 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and obviously the 8 one. Okay, so the 8 one will be 1060 to divide with 1.045 to the power of 8.
Dạ, sir.
Sekejap, Hilang pula dah chat tu tadi. Right. So T3 ada? Ni tak kira tadi.
52.58.
Okay, 52.8. 50 48.15. 46.07. 44.09. 745. Okay, so one more thing. Please help me by total up the values from period 1 until period 8. What will be the value when you add everything?
One zero nine 8.94.
Sorry, 1098 point.
98.94.
So this is the VB actually, the value of bond, which is 1,098 ringgit and 94 cents. Okay, so this is the value of this bond based on 12% semi-annually and 9% K, and also 4 years to maturity. Okay, so the one that we calculated here is actually this part. If you go back to the formula, it's this part, which is the sum of the present value of the coupon, okay, together with the cash flow. Okay, interest or principal. The C is refers to interest or principal or both. Yeah. So for period 1 until 7, it's just the coupon interest, whereas for period number 8, it will be coupon plus the principal of 1,000. So we've done our denominator. So now we want to find the numerator. So to find the numerator, there are some similarities. So we still have, actually, if we remove T, yeah, so it's actually still CT divided by 1 plus K to the power of T, kan? Right? So we are missing the T part, the one in the bracket. So what we need to do is to multiply the T with the present value. Okay, so therefore, the fourth column here, bear with me, should solve a bit. Okay, the fourth column here would be time. Okay. Time multiply with this cash flow as you multiply with the PVCF, the present value of cash flow. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna take time, each of the period, we multiply with the respective present value of the cash flow. So for example, number 1, it's 1 multiply with 57.42. So obviously it would be 57.42 lah, no changes. Okay, but for the second one, it will be 2 multiply with 54.94. So it will be 109.88. Okay, 109.88. And again, you need to help me to calculate for each row's results. Okay, the next one is 3 multiplied with 52.58. Then 4 times 50.31, 5 times 48, and lastly 8 multiplied with 745.38. Okay, please again help me. find the figures for all of the rows. And since you are calculating it, at the end nanti pun, please find the total. Okay, after you find respective rows ni, the answer, please find the total as well. Why? See, so 157.74, 201, 40.75, 276, 76.42, 08.63. This one, 5963. So the total is 7,015, 12 cents. 7,000. All right, so now we have the full set of the formula. So again, bear with me here. Okay, thank you for helping me calculate. So we have both information. So we have the present value of cash flows weighted, okay, whereby we multiply with the time. And the other one would be the VB, the price of bond. So we have both. Okay, so therefore, okay, to find the duration, the D, it would be the weighted present value cash flow, which is 7,315.12, and we divide with the VB, which is 1098.94. So 7315.12 divided by 1098.94 is 6.66. 6.66. Yes, 6.66. Okay, and remember, we are doing this based on semi-annual. Okay, semi-annual. But for duration, okay, for duration, if you look at the bottom here, we need to find the D back to annual amount, ataupun back to the annual duration. Okay, so remember this initial D that we find here, 6.66 here, it refers to the semi-annual duration lah. But to find it in annual, okay, in annual, what we need to do is to take the annual here. Sorry, we take the D, which is 6.66, and we divide with M. So in our case, M is semi-annually, so M is 2. So here the annual, it will be 3.3. Okay, so basically, if you want to put this, is actually 3.33 years. Okay, so remember the duration is always shorter than the maturity. Okay, the duration should be shorter than the maturity. The maturity is 4 years, right? So our answer shouldn't be more than 4 years. So this is the annual duration ataupun the annual Macaulay duration. So if you go back to the question, so the first part, the Macaulay duration, this is the final answer, 3.33. Okay. So in order to find the duration, okay, we need to prepare this table first to find these two information, the subtotals. Okay, and then we divide respectively based on the formula. Okay, the weighted ataupun the time times present value cash flow, and we divide with the present value of cash flow, which is the value of the bond. Then we get the the semi-annual duration, and we have to divide by 2 in order to get it in annual amounts. So in this case, the annual amount is 3.33 years. Okay, so this is the first part, just the first part. Okay. And obviously, okay, this duration is found by economists last time. So they found that this Macaulay duration is not really accurate. It's not really accurate. So they need to make some adjustment. Okay, some adjustment. So what kind of adjustment? That's why they come up with the modified duration. Okay, so this modified duration is more widely used, okay, especially for corporate bonds or mortgage-backed issues. And it is considered better measurement with regards to the bond sensitivity. Okay, because of these issues okay, in terms of the size, 4 and whatnot, especially when we talk about the level of YTM, because Macaulay duration will not will only consider the final cash flows. Okay, but anyway, so to use the modified duration, we still need to get the duration. Okay, this is D, must be on annual amount, the annual. And we divide with 1 plus K divided by M. So technically it's K divided by M plus 1. So remember we have used this before, K plus M. We used this when we did our present value just now. Okay, the 9% divided by 2, which is 4.5%. So 4.5% plus 1, which is 1.045. So we have to divide the annual D with 1.045 to get the modified duration. So to get the modified duration, be 3.33 annual duration, we have to divide with 1 plus K divided by M. So K again is 4.5% after we divide by 2 by M. So plus 1 is 1.045. So we have here 3.19. Okay, 3.19. Okay, so this is considered the modified duration. Okay, the modified duration. And what's the purpose of the modified duration? We can make some estimations on the value of the bond if we have anything changes towards the rate of return. Okay, so for A, which is to find the Macaulay and the modified duration, is actually finished until here because we found the annual duration in terms of the Macaulay duration and also the modified duration in this mode lah. Okay, so we have 3.33 and 3.19. So that's A. Okay, so we've done A. Okay, but if we refer to the note, we can use this modified duration to measure, like I said, the new price. Okay, so this one you can try on your own later on. But I want to take you to this slide number 43. Effect of price change based on the modified duration. So we're going to use the modified duration to estimate what will be the new bond price if there's any changes in the yield of return. Okay, so how to use it is basically we need first to find the percent of changes to BP. BP is bond price. So this is the triangle here refers to change. Yeah? Okay, the symbol of change is this triangle. So we want to find the percent change of bond price. We need to use negative demod. So there's a negative sign here. Negative sign here. So it's a negative demod. So based on our answer just now, it's 3.19 tadi kan demod. So we're going to use negative 3.19 and we multiply with the changes to the K. Okay. So whatever changes, we can measure what will happen to the price. Okay, first of all, why it's negative? Negative. So remember, when we talk about the yield of returns ataupun the required rate of returns versus the bond price, the relationship is inverse. It's the opposite directions. So that's why we have a negative sign here. It means if the K increase, okay, it will affect negatively the opposite. And if the K is going down, then negative dengan negative akan positive. So it will goes up. Okay, so that's why we put a negative in the demod. Okay, and this K will depends. If it's increase, we're going to use a positive K. If it's negative, ataupun it's decrease, we're going to use a negative sign there. Okay, and this changes of rate of return, yeah, the yield, usually they will not use the percentage directly. Okay, they're not going to use percentage. Instead, they're going to use the basis point system. Okay, they're going to use the basis point system. So what does it mean by basis points? For example, if 100 basis point, this is small BP. Kalau BP tadi ni bond price, small BP refers to basis point. So for 100 basis point, okay, in order to get it in percentage, you need to divide by 100. So 100 divided by 100. It's going to be 1%. So technically, when we said 100 basis point, it means 1% changes. Okay, similarly, kalau dia kata 50 basis point. So kalau 50 divided by 100, be 0.5%. Okay, again, it can be positive or negative depending on question. Kalau dia kata increase 50 basis point, it means it will be positive 0.5%. Okay, so the relationship of that, you can see here, the basis point with the percentage terms. So 100 just now, I gave an example, equivalent to 1%. So kalau 50, it's 0.5%. So whatever the basis points in the questions, this is just some examples, but some questions may be used to 20, to 50, whatever the answers, what you need to do is just divide by 100 to get it in percentage. Okay, divide by 100. Okay, so once you have this percent of changes of the bond price, this is basically the first step. We want to see the effect of price. Second, we're going to use this information here and we add with 1. So again, if it's positive, you're going to get 1.0 something or 1 point something. But if you get a negative here, it's going to be 0 point something. Okay, it will be less than 1 because you're going to minus. Kalau dapat negative, 1 plus negative is minus, right? So 1 minus whatever the rates, you're gonna get 0 point something. You're gonna be less than 1. So when it's less than 1, it will reduce the old bond price. But if it's more than 1, it will increase the bond price. Okay, and this is how we find the new bond price lah. Old bond price multiply with the changes. Okay, so we get this idea. Now we transfer back to the question. Okay, and for that question related to the percent of changes of bond price based on duration. Okay, I want you to focus on D. Okay, question 4D here, because the question asks using duration. So far we've done the Macaulay and also the modified duration. So therefore we are using actually duration process. Okay, so using duration, compute the estimated price of the bond if the interest rate falls by 200 basis points. So they will reduce by 200 basis points. Okay, 200 basis points. So what does it mean? First, this is for D. First, we're going to find the percent change of the bond price. Okay, and remember the formula is a negative DMOD. So it's negative 3.19. Okay, and we multiply with the changes of K. In this case, the changes of K is a negative also because it falls, it's reduced. So I'm going to put a bracket here. It's going to be a negative 200 basis point is percent. Okay, remember what are we doing now? This is based on annual already. Okay, this is based on annual. Okay, because initially it was 6.66, but we convert it into annual. So therefore, this 200 basis points, we're going to use it directly because 3.19 is actually annual amount already. So this 2% will remain the same. So negative 3.19 multiplied by a negative 2%. So you're going to get a positive sign because negative might multiply with negative. You're going to get a positive, which is 6.38%. So the percent change of BP, it will increase by 6.38%. So what does it mean? If the bond drop ataupun reduced by 2%, the old values will increase by 6.38%. Okay, remember the relationship is inverse, the reverse ataupun it's the opposite way. So our original value is this much. Remember, this is our VB. This is original VB based on original amounts. Okay, but now, since there's a change towards the interest rates, so by using the duration method, we're gonna forecast what will be the new price, the new bond price in this case. So the original is 1098.94. Okay, and we're going to increase it because the sign is positive here. So we take this 6.38 plus 1. So 6.38 plus 1 is 1.0638. $1.98.94. So what we have here is 1,169.05. Okay, so the value has increased by 6.38%. Okay, 6.38%. Double check that. 4 times 1.06. Salah hari apa ni? Double count 1098.94 times 1.06. Okay, 1169.05. Okay, so therefore we've done A again, and we've done D. Okay, so this is the first.
Sir,
Yeah,
yang
yeah.
A tadi,
Yang mana?
yang A, soalan
Ah.
A tu kan,
Hmm.
yang Macaulay tu kan,
Ah.
yang kat table yang saya buat ni tadi kan, yang
Aha.
PV of CI tadi, saya terlepas lah macam nak kira dia.
Sorry?
Ya, saya terlepas lah macam nak kira yang PV of CF ni.
Ni. Yang
Apa formula dia?
this column ni.
Yes, it's column number 3.
So untuk dapat yang ni is basically time ni. I kata letak ni number 1 This is our number 1. This is number 2, this is number 3 katakan So to time PVCF is number 1.
Yes.
Darab number 3. So 1 times 50.
The column number 3. Yang
yang
PV
ni.
of CF.
So ni, this is the present value. The process of present value, what we need to do is just cash flow divide by 1 plus K to the power of T. So meaning cash flow dia 60 divide by 1 plus K. K dia 4.5 tadi. So 1.045 to the power of 1. Sebab ni time dia 1.
Okay.
So kita dapat 57.42. Untuk and the second one, it will be 60 ringgit divide by 1.045 to the power of 2. Then kita dapat 54.94.
Okay. Thank you,
So
sir.
this is all present value. Okay, the concept of present values. So that's why kalau makin jauh time dia daripada sekarang, makin the smaller the values. Okay, boleh ya?
Boleh, sir. Thank you, sir.
Alright. Now, let's go back to this note. So in the bond duration, so that's our first part actually. Okay. So far okay ni. So I recap balik. So far we have first to find the Macaulay duration based on the tables, and then we convert it into the annual duration. And then we have the modified duration. And once we have the modified duration, then we can estimate what will be the new price if there's any changes towards the rate of return, the K. And how to do it? By using this. Okay, the percent of changes to the BP using the demod times the changes of K. Right? Then this one will be used again later when we have to estimate the new bond price using whatever method afterwards. We're going to use this again. This concept. This is basically, it's not really a formula. This is just a simple mathematical equation. Yeah, I just put it here just to make it easier for you, but it's actually just a simple mathematical equation. See the increments of the old price to the new price with the changes. Okay. And again, economists, obviously when the times come, economists will argue, will come up with more, try to be more accurate, I can say, in terms of estimations. So they don't settle with modified duration. So they believe something is not right with the modified duration. It's not to say that it's not 100% incorrect, but they think that the relationship between price and K itu is not a straight line ataupun it's not a linear relationship. Okay, so again, I will skip this part. Okay, so they believe that there's some limitations. Okay, there's some limitation. So therefore, they come up with the extension. Okay, the extension of this Macaulay dengan modified duration. Okay, but still, even though they extend, we have to go through the whole process, the same process. We cannot jump terus dengan new method because, like I said, this is an extension. This is not a totally new method. So therefore, what would be the extension? They use the bond convexity. Okay, convexity is actually just like a curve. Okay, they believe that the bond kan dia inverse so dia bukan straight line. It's not a straight line relationship. So they believe there will be some curve macam ni. Okay, so to add the element of curve ni, they add the element of convexity. Okay, so these two bullets ni, the first two bullets is actually the same as I said before. They're inversely related. So when the yield increase, the bond decrease and vice versa. However, the key point here, they believe that the relationship is not at the same proportion. So they bukan straight line. Bukan one-to-one. It's not one-to-one punya changes. Okay, so because of that, they created what we call as the convexity. And this convexity, okay, just ignore this part. This convexity is based on, like I said, the extension of what we have before. Right, so if you want to use the formula, it will look something like this, which is quite complicated, to be honest with you. Okay, how to read this, right? To simplify it, okay, to simplify the form, the equation, I come up with this table, not table, sorry, the formula, and this formula, the C formula for the second part here, put a star here, right? Is actually we can use or we can extend our original table before. remember we have T ataupun time times PVCF before. So we have PVCF, we have time. T ini is the time, right? So therefore, to find this part, okay, remember we have the PVCF, like your friend asked just now, how to get the PVCF. So we have that table, we have the time. So therefore, we can extend this equation, T times T plus 1 times PVCF, as part of the formula. Okay, later I will show you. And we have to divide. Okay, this is the total. Total means the sum. So that's why we have the sum here. And we divide with the bond price. Remember the VB, the total present value of cash flows. We multiply with 1 plus K divided by M. So this part is actually the same as before, but now we have square. So why we have square is basically, remember, there's a possibility to get a negative here. So to eliminate the negative, so we square it basically. Okay, we square it. Anyway, if we go back to the table here, okay, so we can add one more column on the right hand side after time times PVCF. Okay, so based on this equation, it is a total, so meaning we need to find the total afterwards. But based on T times T plus 1 times PVCF. So therefore, if I write here T, which is the time, multiply with T plus 1, and we multiply with PVCF. Okay, so technically, but since I tell you one by one just now, right? So in the future, if you intend to answer this, actually you need to prepare all 5 straight away. Okay, but I just want to show you step by step. So I put this last lah. Okay. Anyway, so how to solve this equation? So it's, for example, the first row here, time 1. So T is 1. Okay, T is 1. Okay, I put it here first. It's 1. Multiply with 1 plus 1, T plus 1. So 1 plus 1. And multiply with PVCF. PVCF is 57.42. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, 1 multiply with 1 plus 1 is T plus 1 is 1 plus 1 times the PVCF of 57.42. So it's technically is 1 multiply with 2 multiply with 57.42. So 114.84. Okay, it will be 114.84. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, so for the second one, it's basically it will look something like this. It's 2 because it's row number 2 times 2 plus 1 times 54.94. So now it's 2 times 3. Okay, kalau tadi 1 times 2 so now it's 2 times 3. Times 3 times 54.94. So it will be 329.64. Okay, so it will be 329.64. And again, I need your assistance to help me to go through the remaining 8, sorry, the remaining 6. Okay, and find me the subtotal as well. Kat bawah ni nanti. Okay, so you can see lah, the numbers will become even bigger lah because the multiplication here. So from, for example, the first one is 2 plus is 1 times 2, right? So next is 2 times 3, 6, and then 3 times 4, 4 times 5, and so on. Sampai 8 times 9 at the bottom here. Right, anybody? Okay, 630.96. Okay, let me try. 630.96. Then what?
One.
Betul lah.
Ya, betul.
Saya hilang. Oh,
Mana?
okay. 1006.20 cent, I believe. 144 cents also. 34. And 2469. 04. This one 53,000. 667. So the subtotal about okay, 61,000. 61,597.51. Alright, thank you. So kalau ada discrepancy or argument, let me know. Or I assume this is correct. Okay, so the one that we've got here is actually the numerator. Okay, the numerator. So therefore, to find the convexity, okay, so in this case is C, to find the convexity. Okay, so it's total of T times T plus 1 times PVCF, which is we've got already. 61,000. 61,597.1 cents. And we have to divide this by this. The bond price was 1098. Okay, 1098.94 is the bond price. And we multiply with 1 plus K divided by M, so which is 1.045 spreads. So we have here 51.33. Yeah, thank you. Okay, 51.33. Okay, and again, this convexity, right? This convexity is not based on annual yet, because everything we still use based on period, which is the maximum of 8, okay, which is based on semi-annual. So to get the annual convexity, okay, annual convexity, okay, so it will be C, the one that we used earlier, the convexity is C, yeah, right? We divide with 2, which is, the 2 is fixed, okay? These 2 we have to multiply with M. So in our case, the M is always 2, kan, in this question, semi-annually. So therefore, it's 51.33 divided with 2 times 2. So it's 2 times M, yeah, based on the formula, it's 2 times M. So 2 times M is 2 times 2, which is technically 2 times 2 is 4. So 51.33 divided by 4, we're going to have 12.83. Okay, 12.83. So that's, so far we've done until the annual convexity. Okay, the annual convexity. Okay, so next. Okay, next. Should I go with the question or should I go with this one? Okay, I think I go with the flow of the convexity first, lah. Even though it will not be in the sequence of the question. All right, but anyway, it's already calculated the annual convexity. So similar like duration. Okay, you remember duration tadi kita guna demod ataupun the modified duration in order to determine the percent of changes of bond price based on duration. Okay, here to find the percent of change of bond price using convexity, kalau tadi kita guna negative demod times dengan changes of K. Okay, but here it will be half ataupun 0.5 ataupun 1 divided by 2, which is half, multiply with this annual convexity. Okay, multiply with the changes of K squared. Okay, this is actually the reason why yang patutnya the square, because we don't want to be a negative tadi, sepatutnya kat sini explain. But anyway, so I repeat, the percent change of BP based on convexity will be half. Okay, multiply with annual convexity that we just found here, and multiply with the changes of K. So similar like the one that we've done in the duration. Okay, but this time around we have to square, okay, the changes of K. Right, so therefore, if we find the percent change of BP based on convexity, okay, yang tadi ni based on duration, this is based on duration. Okay, this is based on convexity. It would be half multiply with 12.83 multiply with the changes of K. So the changes of K last time was -2 and negative 200 basis point. Okay, and we have to square this. Try. So you're gonna have 0.25. This case is, I just put all the 4 decimals. I try again. Okay. So this is the convexity, 0.2566. Okay, 0.2566. Okay, so bear with me. If you look at the question again, so we've done the computation of convexity. So for B, we've done this convexity and also the annual convexity. So to find again the convexity, we're going to prepare one more column here based on T times T plus 1 times PVCF. Find the total, and then we divide with the PVCF with the multiplication of 1 plus K divided by M to the power of 2. Okay, that's why we got this 51.33. And then to get it in annual amounts, we divide with 2 times M. Okay, 2 times M, or in this case, 2 times 2. So here we have 12.83 for annual convexity. So that's for B. Okay, so D, we've done this before. So C, I have to skip this first because this is based on actual. So I will explain what I mean by actual. But for E, okay, for E's, the question asks to use both duration, okay, duration, together with the convexity. So for this convexity question, it's seldom we need to use convexity alone. Remember, this convexity is just an extension, just a small adjustment to the estimation. So therefore, usually they will ask us to combine the duration that we've done before together with the convexity. So what does it mean by this? Okay, so we've done the hard part. Okay, we've done the hard part. So this is B actually. So to find E, we need to combine the duration, which is 6.38, with the convexity of 0.2566. So I'm going to put percent change of bond price based on duration and convexity. Convexity be 6.38% plus 0.2566. So here I'm going to put again 6 decimal just to make it accurate here, 6366. So this is a combination of duration and convexity. So to find the new bond price based on both, B again, 1098.94, multiply with the changes, which is 1 plus this amount. So it's 1.066366. Quite long, a bit high. Anyway, good. Plus 1 times 1098.94. So here I have 1,171 ringgit and 87 cents. Okay, and 87 cents. So this will be the adjustment that we've done. Right, from this 1169, where we have both duration and convex, it will be 1171.87. Okay. Even though you see it's just a small difference, merely 1 ringgit something, but remember, if we invest in one, yes, we see 1 ringgit different. But imagine companies or investors who invested in thousands. Okay, so a shift of estimation will cost them money. So yeah, so the convexity ni is more robust and more widely accepted as compared to the modified duration juga. Okay, boleh ke? This is for convexity. Okay, convexity. So like I said, convexity is just an extension. So therefore, they have to combine with the duration before we find the new price. Okay, so technically we've done E. Okay, so we left with C actually. Okay, C, compute the actual price. So based on this question, okay, the actual price is actually based on the calculation of VB. Okay, we need to calculate based on VB. Okay, so what does it mean by VB? So we use the coupon times PVIFA, KNN, plus the par value times PVIF, KNN. Okay, so for C, okay, so this is for C, we don't use duration, we don't use convexity. Okay, and this is actually based on VB. Okay, but I'm going to use price ataupun actual price. Okay, to find the actual price, it will be, I rewrite balik first the formula. It will be based on coupon times PVIFA KN plus par value times PVIF KN. All right. So as I said earlier, for this question, unfortunately, we cannot use the table because the rate of returns, the K, you're going to have 4.5% originally. Okay, ada half kat sini. So if you remember, table. You remember the table just earlier? We have this present value, but the rates that they give here is all on round numbers. Okay, dia tak ada 0.5, 0.3 or whatever. Okay, 0.25. Okay, but on the top of the table, we have a formula actually, how to calculate for PVIF and also the PVIFE, right? So unfortunately, we're gonna use this formula, okay, in our PVIFA and PVIF punya bracket. Okay, so how to incorporate this with the question? Okay, I read the question first. So using the duration, compute the actual price of the bond if the interest rate again falls by 200 basis points. So remember, it will fall by 2%, okay, annually. Okay, annually. And if we define back the yield to maturity, annually was 9%. Okay, the annual yield to maturity was 9%. So if for C, they ask us to compute the VB, if the rates fall by 2%, it means it fall from 9 to 7 ataupun 9, 7, but 9 minus 2. Okay, it falls by 2, which is actually 7%. Okay, so for C, I repeat, based on actual, and they ask us to assume the rate will fall by 200 basis points, which is 2%. So therefore, the original was 9, and it's dropped by 2%. So therefore, the computation is based on 7%. But again, this 7% is based on annual. Okay, so when we do the VB, when we calculate the VB just now, okay, remember the C, the K, and the N will affect it, similar like this one. So C, we have to divide by 2, K, we divide by 2, C or N, we have to multiply by 2. So what's the implication here? So the C will be based on 6%. The K, they ask us to adjust from 4.5, meaning it will be divided by 2, it will be based on 3.5%. So it will drop from 4.5 to 3.5. Okay, semi-annually. And the T or N is still 8. Still 8. So therefore, based on this is C tadi Our C will be 60 ringgit. Okay, just like what we have in the table earlier. Okay, the one in the bracket, it will be, I'm going to use the PVIFA table. This one. But the PVIFA is based on this formula. Okay, which is 1 minus 1 divided by, in bracket, 1 plus K. The K is 0.035 because it's 3.5%. So plus 1 is 1.05. To the power of N, our N is 8. Okay, and we have to divide by K, and the K was 0.035. Okay, so this is based on C, and we have to add with the par value is 1000. Okay. So the formula of PVIF is 1 divided by 1 plus K, which is 1.05, okay, to the power of 8. Okay, which is based on this one. Okay, divided by 1.035 to the power of 8. So if we solve the equation on the first part, where be something like this, 1.0. Okay, so meaning the first bracket here, your answer will be 60 times 6.87 lah. I put here 6.8740. Okay, how I get this? It's 1.035 to the power of 8. So 1 divided by that. You dapat answer, then baru 1 minus that. Okay, dia bukan 1 minus 1 jadi 0, as you all know. Mathematically, you solve, divide first baru you minus kan. So divide, then you minus, then baru you divide 0.035. And we plus with 1000. And 5, 8, 0.7594. So this is the one that we use actually based on this table. Tapi like I said, there's no point kan dalam table ni. So we have to calculate manually our interest factor for both PBIFA and PBIF. So therefore, 60 times 6.040 plus 7. So here we have 1172.38. Okay, again, there's a slight difference lah between the price. Okay, so alternatively, kalau you tak confident dengan buat benda ni, you can actually find by using similar table ni. You can use this actually. So 60, you darab dengan 1.035 instead. Then to the power of 1, to the power of 2, 3, to the power sampai last. Okay. Cuma untuk buat yang tadi, you have to do one by one lah because we need each and every items here. But for actual price, we don't have to know every line ni. We just need to know the total. So that's why we use this formula instead. Okay, so this is the fastest one. Or else kalau you tak confident, you can similarly use this table. For this part je, yang number 3 ni je. Okay, so cash flow sama 60 and we know at the end is 1000 plus 60. Yang tadi kita guna 1 plus K which is 1.045. So for the question C just now, if you want, you can use 1.035. Okay, so at the end when you total up everything, it should be very much similar lah, 1172.38. Okay, plus minus of the decimals. Okay, but this is based on the actual. Still ada decimal kan sebab kita round up to 4 decimals just now kan. Yeah, so that's about it for the actual price. So what I can say when we talk about bond durations, the convexity, the maximum that they can ask you is based on this only. So meaning they will ask you to calculate the Macaulay and modified, compute the convexity, and then once you have all of this information, they boleh suruh you estimate the price based on 3 different methods. First is based on VB, whereby we change the interest rate. Second, we use the duration, okay, based on the modified duration. And lastly, based on combined duration and convexity. Okay, ni je maximum. Kalau you tengok soalan-soalan yang lain up from 1 to 3 here, okay, this is the simple ones, meaning there's no convexity. So this is just based on duration. Question number 2 also based on duration. So the other one yang ada complete set is question number 5. This one. Okay, it's quite similar. It's based on Macaulay modified, the convexity, based on actual price, based on duration, and based on both duration and convexity. Okay, so technically, this 4 and 5 ni will be your benchmark lah. How they will ask you, but obviously it will be different in terms of the rates. So for example, this is decreased 200 basis point, but for the next one, it's increased by 150 basis point. Okay, so obviously we have some, the relationship inverse kan. So kalau you all perasan tadi, it's increased because the rates decrease, the price increase. But for this case, you can estimate already, since the rate of interest is increased, your VB ataupun the price of bond will decrease. Okay, will decrease from the original. Okay, so that's convexity, right? So as I said, why they have this convexity, because they believe that the relationship is not straight line, but more to curve line. Okay, so therefore that's why they have this, as I mentioned earlier, the linear straight line, but they believe that the price be on the curve. So the difference in terms of the error estimation ni yang menyebabkan kita gunakan the convexity. So that is more somehow more accurate, they believe. Okay. But obviously there is at some point other possibility whereby all of the methods will indicate the same price. Okay, there's a possibility if you based on this graph ada satu kita panggil the equilibrium point. This point whereby regardless based on actual price or based on convexity or based on duration, most likely the price might be the same. Okay, but in this case, it's between actual price versus or the duration. Okay. Anyway, that would be the end of topic number 7. Ada soalan tak? Any questions? Tak ada. Okay, so if there's no
sorry, saya kurang jelas yang macam mana sekira dapat 6.874 tu.
6.874 ni.
Ya.
Okay, right. We go back to this question. So again, this formula ni, okay, I base on this formula. This is apa? Present value interest factor annuity, sebab formula dia is PVIFA kan. So because we don't have the in-between rates ni, so we're gonna have to calculate manually based on this formula. Okay. So I wrote down everything lah. So maknanya based on this, I change K dengan dengan 0 ataupun with 3.5%. Okay, why I use 3.5%? I recap balik because the question asks us to estimate that the rate from original K of 9% but drop, okay, falls by 200 basis point, which is 2%. So 9 minus 7 is 7%. Okay, and 7% is annual. Okay, K is annual, but since we are semi-annually compounding, so we have to divide by 2, so we get 3.5. So that's K. In our case, the K is 3.5% based on the adjustment. So once you have that 3.5%, so that's why I substitute 3.5 kat sini. Okay, based on again, based on the formula. So K ni akan letak 3.5 and the end point 3.5. So if you ask me how to calculate, okay, I will calculate based on this first. 1.035 to the power of 8. Okay, you akan dapat satu figure lah. 1.05 to the power of 8. You will get 1.31 something. Okay, if you have calculators, 1.31 something. So then I erase. Then I use 1 divide by that answer just now. Okay, I ambil 1 divide by that answer. Now I get 0.7594 and the rest of the numbers lah. Okay, ada banyak numbers kat belakang tu. Okay, so I solved this part already. Okay, again I will erase my calculator. Now I'm going to use 1 minus that answer. Okay, 1 minus that answer. Now I have 0.24, 0588 and the rest of the numbers lah. So once I have this, simply lepas tu I divide with 0.035, which is 3.5% lah. And you will get 6.87395. So I round up to 4 decimals, just like our interest factor kat dalam table ni. You use 4 decimals kan. So end up I put it 6.8740. Boleh?
Sir,
Ya.
lagi satu cara tu kena pergi kat cash flow yang kena
Kalau
kira
lagi satu
satu-satu
cara
tu.
yang slightly longer So similar like this, macam ni. Okay, the cash flow sama. Because our cash flow, kalau kita tengok soalan tadi, this coupon is 12% semi-annually, meaning is 6%. So therefore our cash flow will be the same. The question asks us to assume yang rate dia yang bertukar, the YTM yang reduce. So if you look at this, tadi kita buat ni, this is based on 4.5%, betul? So kita ambil 60 divide by 1.045. Then kita dapat 57.42. But if you want to use this method to calculate the actual price, so katakanlah I kat sini, So this is based on satu lagi PCF, based on adjusted adjusted. So you akan ambil 60, okay, 60, you divide by 1.035, okay, because we assume dia punya rate is 3.5%. So you're gonna get 57.97. Okay, 57.97. Tu baru satu. Then you do for the rest, similar like what we've done before. Then cari total dia kat bawah ni. Okay, so here you can see already the price is higher than the original kan. So you can predict that this value will be higher than this one. Right, and I can say that the answer nanti akan go around this figure lah. Around that figure. So this is the alternative way kalau you nak buat. Based on the actual price and adjusted rates. So you kena kira satu-satu lah. Lepas tu 60 divided by 1.035 to the power of 2. Betulnya, tapi kalau letak it would be 60 ringgit divided by 1.035 to the power, sorry. 60 divided by 1.035 to the power. So you're gonna have 56.01. Okay, so you can keep on doing sampai all 8, then find the total. Okay, akan ada slightly different lah sikit in terms of the decimals. Okay, cuma ni cara ni slightly longer lah, but yeah, if you comfortable with this method, then you can use this method as well. Tapi kena label lah, this is for question C, for example. Ataupun you do a separate table kat bawah tu for answering computation of the actual price based on C. Okay. Anything else?
No. So far so good.
Okay, so far so good. Right. So like I said, there are 2 reminders. Number 1, I believe most of you ataupun kalau hopefully semua dah lah. Cuma I tak accept lagi in the game, for the investment game tu. I guess almost everybody from the group group B have applied ataupun have click the invitation link tu. Cuma I tak accept lagi simply because memang I tunggu everyone to apply, then baru I can accept one by one. So hopefully the ones in the group, the list tu updated in terms of the group members dengan group name, dengan email address. Make sure email address yang registered in the Bursa Marketplace. And we are going to start next Monday. Okay, as I said last week, we are going to start next Monday, which is on the 3rd of May. So we're going to start on the 3rd of May. So I will create the folder for you to submit every week's punya reports ataupun screenshots of the transactions. Remember, you just need to screenshot your transactions for the whole week, regardless lah berapa pages, berapa photos if you want to upload. Make sure it's the transaction from the first day of Monday tu sampai the Friday of that particular week, which is on the Friday tu on the 7th. So I want to see the transaction from the 3rd of May until the 7th of May. Okay, by that deadline there, the following Monday, which is not next Monday, the following Monday tu you kena submit transaction for the next week. Okay, tu satu reminder for the game. And next, as I said dalam group juga, for your test I've mentioned juga, we'll cover the topic of stock valuation and also bond valuation. So the bond valuation will consist of all, sampai apa yang kita belajar hari ni pun. And for stock valuation, I can say just focus on the DDM model. Yang ada 4 different models. So we have constant dividend, inconstant dividend, constant growth dengan non-constant growth. Itu je. Kita tak guna yang PE model tu. The price earning model tu, I don't use that one for the test. Just for the first 4 models tu, together with the bond. Again, the bond can be a bit about the valuations. Yeah, the 4 tadi yang ada BB, CY, YTM, YTC, and also the duration as well. Okay, so everything will be done via my guru. So read the instruction. I dah post sebenarnya. Cuma I tak upload soalan lah. Soalan tu I upload on the Friday itself. It's from 2 to 5. So, itu je lah. Jangan lupa lah Friday nanti. So, with that, we've done topic number 7 already. Okay. So, for next meeting, kita punya break bila? Our semester break. We have semester break during Raya week tu eh? If I'm not mistaken lah. Next week still consider ada our normal week. So I think this week ni is our so-called midterm break. So for next week, meaning we will continue with topic number 8. Topic number 8 tu sebenarnya bond portfolio, right? And this is again another theory, and this is actually quite similar like equity portfolio management, which is we have the active versus passive end. So this is going to be quite brief for topic number 8, but then we're going to move to topic number 9 afterwards together on the same day. So maknanya for next week, we're going to try to complete topic 8 and topic 9 together. So topic number 9 tu, if I'm not mistaken, is about capital market theory. Okay, there's a lot of theory dalam tu, ada CML, capital market line, kita ada SML, so APT, arbitrage pricing theory. So we'll see lah nanti on that day whether I'm gonna go through everything or I just pick and choose which is important for you untuk this semester. Alright. So
Sir,
yeah.
so basically our test topic 1 until topic 7.
No, just 5 and 7 to be honest with you.
5 and 7.
7. So yang lain tu you don't have to worry. So just focus on apa tadi? Equity, share valuations. Itu pun ada spesifik tadi kan. Kita ada 2 model under share valuation tu. Bila kita buat company analysis, we have two types. Just focus on the DDM, the dividend discount model. Okay, yang PE tu you don't have to worry. And bond, it may be everything lah. So what yang kita belajar last week and this week.
Okay.
Alright. So as usual, I will share the video sessions. I upload dalam YouTube sebenarnya. So yeah, just tengok nanti lah. And I share the link dekat my guru, and also siapa yang boleh tengok dekat YouTube, you can check in YouTube. And as I said, I ada buat satu playlist in the YouTube for all the recorded sessions. Cuma itu is a mixture lah because I have 3 groups kan. So I mix every week to maybe different from different groups. Sometimes it maybe come from the lecture from your group, sometimes from group A or maybe group C. Tapi setiap topik tu will be gather in one playlist from our first topic sampai nanti lah topik yang kita ada ni. Okay, especially can be used later lah as a reference. Alright, so again, thank you. Ada tak soalan lain dalam ni? Tak ada kan? Okay, so thank you very much. And don't forget it's Friday. And I'll see you guys for the next lecture next week. Alright, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Take care.
Alright,
Sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
okay, welcome.